Morning, Governor Brown, Secretary of State Richardson, Representative-elect Wilde, my good friend Representative Vial. I want to congratulate our kid governor, Erikka, but I also want to make a special note of all the finalists who are here and to thank you all for writing and participating in this great civic education. I want to start my remarks by acknowledging Secretary of State Richardson's great gift to this state in the form of civic education. Civic education is one of the most important things that we need to give our generations who are coming behind us, our children and our grandchildren. Democracy will only continue to flourish if our children are educated in how our government works. And so I think this has been one of the most remarkable programs, and I thank you so much for that. So my job is to talk a little bit about the judicial branch of government. So as the governor said, and as Representative-elect Wilde said, there are three branches of government: the executive, and the leader of the executive branch of government in this state is Governor Brown. The legislative, and one of the leaders of the legislative branch, the Speaker of the House, is Tina Kotek, and the leader of the judicial branch of government is Chief Justice Martha Walters. So I want you to think about this. We have a woman governor, we have a woman leading the House of Representatives, and for the first time in our history, we have a woman Chief Justice. I think that's remarkable in our state. Also, for the first time in history, the majority of the members of the Supreme Court, 5 of those 7 members, are women. So I think we're a wonderful state to have that kind of leadership, and I hope all of you appreciate what that's about. So the courts, the judicial branch are the courts, and we have 3 levels of courts. We have a circuit court where trials occur, like you see on television, where people go to seek justice, either in the criminal sense or if they've been wronged civilly, to seek justice. We then have an intermediate appellate court made up of 13 judges who are elected statewide, and we have a Supreme Court, which is the highest court, with 7 members, all of whom are elected statewide. We are the only country in the world that elects judges, and we're one of 35 states in which judges are elected. And those are issues that I think all of you might think about, whether it's really a good thing to elect judges as we do today, and that's something you can think about. But the most important thing here is the Chief Justice, Martha Walters, is the head of the judicial branch. She speaks for the judicial branch. And here's the way our founding fathers and sisters set up our system of government. The judicial branch can't enforce its own orders. In other words, the Supreme Court can order something to be done, but they can't enforce it. That's up to the executive branch. The judicial branch can't fund its own operations. The legislature has to do that. The legislature, in the budgeting process, working with the governor, has to fund the judicial branch operations. So what that means is that we in the judicial branch have to be people of integrity. We have to be able to show the other 2 branches of government that we are great managers of the funds that they give us, and that we are innovative in thinking how the judicial branch can work. I'll close with just sort of this idea. After I retired, I felt so strongly about the importance of our state courts as opposed to our federal courts that I wrote a book called American Judicial Power, The State Court Perspective. And the idea here was to explain to people that a lot of the things that we take for granted in the states where we live are the result of state Supreme Court decisions. And I'll give you 2 examples. I bet everybody here takes for granted that we recycle our bottles and cans, right? Well, when that law was passed by the legislature, it was challenged in the courts, and the Oregon Supreme Court said that was constitutional. Everybody here takes for granted public beaches, right? That you can go on all the beaches of Oregon. That was challenged in the Oregon courts, and the Oregon Supreme Court said that law was constitutional also. So what I'm wanting to explain to you is that while each branch of government must be conscious of and try to enforce the law, the final say, co-equal branches of government, but the final say about what laws are constitutional, which affects our public policy in this state, belongs to the judicial branch of government. And a final word as I close to the students here. I just can't stress to you how important education is, and to parents. In our society today, education is the great leveler. I became the Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court, raised by a single mother, poor, enlisted in the service when I was 18. But going to college and going to law school was the great leveler in my life. And of course, then the generations that have come after me, my children and my grandchildren, take college and higher education for granted. So I just want to say again, we need to support education. That is one of the greatest programs in our society. So thank you so much.